Okay, the session is being recorded, just for information. Does anybody have any special questions or issues that you want to address?
Well, I know there's only two of us, but I sent you an email. Whenever you get a chance, we could do a one-on-one because, like I said, I'm still not getting it. I'm struggling.
Okay, all right, okay. Resend it because maybe I saw it and I thought it was an old email, so
Okay.
I've lost it. So just resend it tonight and then
no problem. I'll send it tonight. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that's it for now. Okay, so today we're going to talk about two things. The application of linear functions, okay? Like we said earlier, you don't just set up mathematical equations just for the sake of enjoying their looks, unless you're a pure mathematician. And so you enjoy some of the abstract characteristics or properties of numbers and the way they work with each other. But if you're not, mathematical equations are set up so that we can use them to solve regular problems. So I'm just going to use an example from your homework assignment to show you how we set up a mathematical equation to solve problems. And then I will also explain briefly what we have for the next week, which is the system of equations. Again, I'll use a practical example to show you exactly what a system of equations is supposed to address. Okay, so let's look at a simple application again. I'm going to use a homework. I'm going to do the exact homework that we have to show you how we apply the mathematical model to solution of a simple problem. Okay, and it's very it makes mathematical modeling quite interesting. So I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share screen. Okay, the problem that you see there comes directly from the homework. Okay, and we can see some very practical problem. And when you say a practical problem, you are saying to yourself, I mean, these are things that happen every day and decisions that we make every now and then. Okay, so I'll use the first example and even the second example. It's very interesting. And you know, ask yourself, have you ever thought of making this kind of calculation? Or have you ever, been in a situation where you say to yourself, if somebody offered me this kind of thing, how would I solve it? And I have a method now. Now, they say that the Stanley Company is coming up with a new cordless travel shaver, and it hopes to sell 10,000 of these shavers in the month, okay? Now, the manufacturer has a variable cost, $3, and the fixed cost of $10,000. Okay, so a variable cost. What's a variable cost? A variable cost is a cost that changes as, say, the quantity of goods change, or the quantity of the object of interest changes, okay? For example, if you go to, say, buy hot dogs, and you buy the hot dogs for $2 each, well, $2 is your variable cost for the hot dog. Now, one example I often use is the example of a young kid who goes to a stadium on a game day and tries to buy a concession to sell hot dogs in the stadium. Now, the kid must pay a $150 concession fee, which is, before we allow you to come to the stadium to sell hot dogs, you must pay $150. And once you step into the stadium with your hot dogs, it does not make a difference whether you sell one hot dog or you sell $1 million hot dogs. All you pay is $150. Okay? And so now the kid buys the hot dogs wholesale, where it comes to 50 cents a hot dog. Okay? Where it comes to 50 cents a hot dog. So if they buy 100 hot dogs, it's 50 cents times 100. Okay? Now, the $150 they pay as concession fee is a fixed cost. They pay it. That's it. Okay? But then, suppose the people that sell them, give them, that supply the hot dogs to the kid says, every hot dog you sell, just bring 50 cents back to us. So the variable cost is 50 cents. Because if they sell 100 hot dogs, it's 50 cents times 100. So that is $50. If they sell 200 hot dogs, it's 50 cents times 200. So that is $100. Is that clear? That's clear, right? Okay. So the variable cost is 50 cents, but the fixed cost is $150. The stadium takes that, and it's up to you to sell as many hot dogs as possible in order to make a profit. So now we set up an equation, and we'll call that C. So that is the cost of hot dogs, C. And C for this kid is 150 plus, so the 150 is the fixed cost, plus 0.5 times the number of hot dogs. Is it making sense? Everybody following me so far?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is the cost of hot dogs. 150 plus 0.5 T. Because 150 is the fixed cost. And 50 cents is the cost, the variable cost of a hot dog. So this is the concept of variable cost you see here. So in this problem that we have here, your fixed cost is 100,000. Your variable cost is $3. So let's go here and set up that equation here. All right, so our equation here would then be the cost will be $100 thousand plus $3 for each share. Okay. So 100,000 plus 3 times S. S is for shaver because they're going to produce shavers. So that is their cost. All right. That is their cost. So they manufacture shavers, and maybe we should call the shavers V so that don't confuse it. I would say V, let V be shavers. So that's your cost. Now, when you do business, how do you measure your profit? Your profit is measured by your revenues minus your cost. Am I correct? Are we correct on that one? Hello, Kimberly?
I'm here. Can you I don't know, I'm having a hard time following uh I don't know if you're going based on the homework assignment problem number one, because I know the first example you gave, you're making it up as you were going, correct?
Okay. The first example I gave, I made it up.
Yes. So now are you doing problem
So
one?
now, yes, I'm not doing problem one. I'm not trying to apply the concept I explained to you to do problem one.
Okay, so the way I wrote it down is 100,000 plus $3, and I instead of V I put N as
Yeah,
the
you can
number
you,
of
you
shavers.
can put N as the number of shavers. You can put S as the number
And
of
then
shavers. You can put
and then I
X.
did, yeah, so it's any variable I that I get. And then I said it
No, the
equals
variable the
N.
variable is 3. The variable cost is 3.
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out what the number of shavers is, correct?
Yes, and in order to explain that, now we have to go to the next stage. This is the cost. If you manufacture your shavers, you will spend at least $100,000. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't manufacture any shaver, because you would, for example, buy your machinery would depreciate. You pay utility for the light, you pay for the power, what have you. But you must spend at least $100,000. And
Okay.
then for each shaver you produce, it will cost you $3 to produce that shaver. So your cost is 100,000 plus 3 times V. Okay. If you
Yeah.
prefer to use X, I'm
No, no,
going to
it's fine.
use.
I'm
Okay.
just I came to the tutoring session with the assignment
Okay.
sort of done just to make sure that I'm doing it correctly.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
3 times X. X is the number of shavers. Okay. You can call your shavers anything. You can call them R. That's R is the number of shavers. Okay. You can call them H. H is the number of shavers. Any number. Okay. So that's your cost. Okay. So now, if you're doing business, you're thinking about a profit. So in as much as the shavers have cost you some money, you're going to recover this money, this cost, by selling shavers. Okay? And so your revenue minus your cost is your profit. So whatever the revenue is, let us put that revenue here. Revenue minus cost equals shavers. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to rewrite that. So your revenue minus your cost is going to be your profit. Okay?
mhm.
That's your profit. I'm going to call it profit. Okay. So that's your profit. revenue minus your cost. Okay. Now you can see I put the cost in bracket. Okay. Put it in bracket because it's everything that's inside the bracket that you're going to subtract from your revenue. So what is your revenue? Your revenue is going to be the number of shavers that you produce times the price of the shavers. Okay. So your revenue will then be 11 times
R.
11 times R. Okay. So we're also going to put that in bracket. Okay. 11 times R minus your cost is going to give you your profit. All right. Okay. So now the question then is, what is break even? Break even is the minimum quantity that you must produce in order to make a profit. That's your break-even point. At that point, you make zero loss, zero profit. Okay. So what is the minimum number of shavers that you must manufacture to make a profit? So now this is where the equation now becomes interesting. Okay. So I'm going to erase that. Take your notes so that you can follow from your notes. Now, I gave you a hint here. Say set R of x minus C of x and solve for x. That is to say, this is your R of x, the revenue times the quantity that you sell, sorry, the price times the quantity that you sell, since you're selling for $11 each, minus your cost. And so set these two equations equal to 0. Okay, so your profit becomes 0. And in that case, you rewrite this equation and set this to 0. So let me do just that. Okay. Okay. All right. So let us see what we do. Your revenue will be $11R minus 100,000 minus 3x equals 0. Because at your break even, you make 0 profit, you make 0 loss. Okay? You're just even. This is why I call it break even. You're just even. Okay? No profit, no loss. So that gives you the minimum quantity. Now, as you can see, you have 11R minus 100,000 minus 3x is going to be 0. And so we can now say that 11R, that's 11 for each quantity. Okay. As a matter of fact, it should be 11x, not 11R. Sorry for that. Because you're selling X quantities. $11x. Okay. It's equal to 11x is equal to, if you take the 100,000 and the 3x to the other side of the equation, they change sign. So that becomes 100,000 plus 3x. So in your notes, please change the arrow to x, okay? Just change the arrow to x. So now what you have is 11x is equal to 100,000 plus 3x. So you're gonna now put all the x's on one side and you put the 100,000 on the other side. So you solve for x, okay? You solve for x. So I'm going to take that out. Okay.
You stop sharing the screen.
Yes, that was a mistake. Click something wrong.
Divide that by 4.
I know this might be a dumb question, but
Yes, go
in
ahead.
the original, so if I put shavers instead of X, just for me, it's like I get confused when you use so many different letters representing the value of what we're looking for, because we're changing all these values to different letters, and sometimes it kind of doesn't make sense. So we're looking for the
No, we're looking for the quantity of shavers. You can use S throughout. Remember, I say you can call it S, you can call it V, you can call it H, whatever you want to call it. Okay?
How about shavers?
Yeah, you can say shavers.
Okay, that might make it a little simpler for me.
Yes, you can say shavers. You can say then 11 times shavers, but when you write shavers, I mean, it kind of gives you a very long thing. For example, let me try to use your notation. So,
can I give you a suggestion? Like when you see when you look at the formula, I forget the student's name. I think it's Mario.
Yes.
Mario, maybe it might be better for like you to rewrite the formula using the words that it's supposed to represent with the specific problem
11,
before you go into the equation.
11 shavers. Okay, that's 11 times the number of shavers is equal to 100,000. I'm just going to put 100 here, right? Plus 3 times the number of shavers. Is it making sense?
Well, 11 is the selling cost of the shavers.
The selling price.
Okay, the selling price of the shavers, and 3 is the amount of shavers you need to sell.
3 is
times the amount
cost
of shavers.
Yeah, 3 is the cost to manufacture each shaver.
That you multiply by the amount that you actually sell, no?
3 times shavers is for each shaver that you manufacture, it costs you $3. If you manufacture 10 shavers, it will cost you $30. If you manufacture 1,000 shavers, then it will cost you 3 times 1,000 shavers, which is 3,000. So 3 is the cost of each, and SH is shavers. Whatever you replace SH with, you multiply it by 3.
Okay.
Okay. The same thing here. For the amount of money you're going to collect, your revenue will be 11 times the number of shavers.
Okay.
You get it? Okay. So how many shavers are you going to? I'm going to use H because it makes my I'm going to take off the H. Okay. So 11 times S for shavers. Ah, Lord, what am I doing to myself? I'm just being clumsy with this. Okay. So 11S minus 3S. But now I'm trying to solve for S is equal to 100,000. Okay, so now we have brought the plus 3 on the right side of the equation into the left side of the equation. So I have 11S minus 3S. So 11 minus 3 is 8. So that means that 8S is equal to 100,000. Okay, so now 8S is equal to 100,000. And so now we'll solve for S. And so S is equal to 100,000 divided by 8. All right. And so if you divide 100,000 by 8, you're going to get 12,500. So that means they have to manufacture a minimum of 12,500 shavers in order to break even. That's what it is. Okay. And so this is a typical business problem. It's an everyday business problem. You think about somebody who is proposing to go into business of manufacturing shavers or to go into business of doing anything, the first thing you ask yourself is, are you going to make a profit? What is the minimum amount of output that will enable you to make that profit? If you don't do that kind of calculation, what's going to happen? You go into the business blindly, and you don't even produce the minimum output that you make a profit, or you don't produce enough to make a profit, or you don't sell enough. Now, this kind of calculation will lead you into a number of decisions. One, how much must you sell? What should be your selling price? You can decide that you will not be able to sell 12,500 shavers. You will not be able to do that. So you might have to reduce your price from 11 to maybe 8. But then if you reduce your price, your selling price from 11 to 8, then that means that you would need to manufacture and sell 20,000 shavers in order to make a profit, in order to begin to make a profit. So the question is, would you be able to sell 20,000? And maybe by reducing the price from 11 to 8, you'll be able to sell more than 20,000. Remember that when you reduce the price, you lower the price, the more people will buy. If you make your shavers $1,000 a shaver, you might not sell any. So it doesn't matter whether you will need to produce only 10 shavers. You will just not be able to sell your shavers at all at $1,000 a shaver. So So this kind of calculation helps you as a business person to think about what you want to do and what you're capable of doing.
So here the final outcome is you need to sell 12,500 shavers to be able to break even.
Yes.
That's a bad business.
Why is it a bad business? How do you know they're not going to be able to sell 12,500 shavers?
Well, you just said at $11, you might not be able to make that cost, depending on the market, no?
Yeah, they say depending on the market. Yeah, depends on the market. Right? Like I said, the calculation enables you now to go back and ask yourself. You just said it's bad business. So you're saying to yourself, it's bad business. Is it bad business because at $11 you will not be able to sell 12,500 shavers? Or is it bad business because let's say that you will not be able to, is it bad business because you don't think you can sell 12,500 shavers? So you might then say, maybe if I reduce the price to $8, now that would mean that I would have to, 11 minus 8, 8 minus 3 is 5. If you divide 5 into 100,000, it's now 20,000. So now you need to manufacture 20,000. Then you ask yourself, by reducing the price from 11 to 8, will that make more people buy it? Like I said, if you make it $100 a shaver, for example, you might not be able to sell any.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you will need to only, say, produce 5,000 shavers. But you might not even be able to sell the 5,000 anyway. You might not sell any at all. And so right. your decision will be, if I reduce from 11 to 8, not only will I be able to sell a lot, in fact, I may sell 25,000, I may sell 30,000 because the price is so low. We all go to the market every day. If the price is lower, you buy more. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a practical example. This is how you set up a business equation in order to find a solution. Okay? But you ask yourself, what I said, set Rx minus Cx and solve for X. So X is the number of shavers. You can use X. Okay? All right. So having gone through that, okay, so let me here's another problem. Okay. I'm going to take that off for now. Ask yourself a simple question. Say Jenny and Masur are salespeople for a shoe company. Okay. Jenny gets $8 per hour and 4% commission. Masur gets $10 per hour plus 8% commission in excess of sales of 1,000. So how do you set this up? Okay. What is X? What is the unknown X that we're looking for here?
Their total salary?
Okay. Yeah, that's the total sales, right? The unknown X here is the total sales that they will make. That is the dollar value of their sales. That is what we're looking here, because it says if they work 8-hour days, for what sales amount? You see the question, for what sales amount will they earn the same daily amount? So the question
here, just to bring something up, then their hourly rate means nothing here, because you're just looking for what
it means a lot. You know why it means a lot? The information has been given to you that this person gets paid $8 per hour. And they have also told you that they work 8 hours a day. So you already know that at the end of 8 hours work day, Jenny gets 8 times 8. Isn't that true?
Yes, but that doesn't impact the sales though. That impacts her salary.
That impacts her salary. The question is,
We're looking for the sales amount. So I'm saying that's just redundant because we're looking for the sales amount and
no,
not
it's
for
not.
their salary.
It's not redundant because it helps you to solve the problem. You already know that in mathematics. It's called a
I'm sorry,
given.
Professor, you're breaking up. Your mic is breaking up.
No, in mathematics, that's called a given. It's a
Okay.
given. It is already given. So what you're looking for is what you don't know, what is not given, which is the total amount of sales that they must make. You know, somebody comes to you, my good friend, and gives you these 2 options. Have you conceived that somebody could give you these 2 options?
Mm-hmm.
And what will be going through your mind if somebody gives you these 2 options? I'm going to pay you $10 per hour plus 8% commission if you sell in excess of. Or I'm going to pay you $8 per hour plus 4% commission on whatever you sell. Right?
Okay.
So what will go through your mind? I work 10 hours, I don't sell nothing, I get $80 and go home.
I don't know.
Would that go through your mind for a moment?
Yeah, if you don't sell anything, you gotta figure out how much you're gonna make for the day, for the 8 hours.
Yes. Or somebody says, I'll pay you $10 an hour, but if you sell more than $1,000, I'll give you 8% of what you sell. Right? So if you are money-minded, you're going to say to yourself, 8%. So I'm going to try to sell a lot. But now remember there's a target. If you don't sell up to $1,000, you get nothing. You just get your $10 an hour. Somebody can also look at that depending on the way the person thinks. So I'm just going to sit on my chair and sell nothing. At the end of the day, I get $100.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that too. But if you're money-minded, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to strive for that excess of over 1,000 so I can make some more money. You get it?
Yep.
Okay. Now, what is going through the mind of the employer? If I'm going to pay you so much more per hour than the other person, you better sell a lot to get any commission. You get it? So you can see the thinking both ways. The reason I'm telling you all these stories is I'm trying to give you an idea of what goes on in the minds of your managers at work when it comes to money. You get the idea? Okay. So now it says, if they work 8-hour days, for what sales amount? See, for what sales amount? So what we do not know here is sales amount, which is X. Okay? So that J is equal to M. Right? So let's see, put it this way. So J is equal to eight times 8
plus
plus
0.04
0.04 X. And M equal to
210
10
plus
times 8 plus
Mm.
point how much? 0.8
8 times minus 1,000. Is it minus 1,000?
times X minus 1,000.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I did it right.
Okay, I'm gonna take that out. Okay, you get the idea here?
Starting to get it.
Okay, now you see that Mansour does not get anything until they sell X minus 1,000. You must remove the first 1,000 before you begin to give anything on X. You get the idea? So now the question is, how much must they sell so that they can become even? So that means J must be equal to M. You get the idea? When will J be the same as M? So J equals M. Now, if J is equals to M, that means that 64 plus 0.04x must be equal to 80 plus 0.08 times x minus 1,000. So you can put the two equations now together and then find x. So I'm going to just set up the equation and have you solve. No, what's your name again? Is that Mario?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
me.
Okay, Mario.
Yes.
It says, if they work 8-hour days, for what sales amount would they both earn the same daily amount? That is, when will J's earning be equal to M's earning? Is that
Okay.
correct? So what
Okay.
you have to do is to set J equal to M. And the way J can be equal to M is if 8 times 8 is 64. If 64 plus 0.04x is equal to 80 times 0.08 times x minus 1,000. That is how they're going to be equal. J is equal to M means that this equation on the top must be equal to the equation at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to set up the equation and I'm going to have you solve it for yourself. When you get home, 64
This is J, 64.
plus 0.04 x will be equal to, that is J, this is J equals to M. So J must be equal to 80 plus 0.08 times x minus 1,000. So now you cannot break this equation down and solve it for x. Whatever x value you get is the answer to the problem. You get it?
You want me to solve for x?
Yeah, go ahead and solve it. I'm not going to solve it here. Okay? You write it down, explain what you're doing, and solve for x. Whatever value you get for x is the answer to the problem, if you solve it correctly now.
Okay. Wow. For me, I think breaking it down, I could probably get the answer another way. The way you break it down, I understand this is the formula. But it's just I wouldn't even know where to start how to identify x, to be honest with you. So
well, the way to identify x is to look at the question and say, what is it that they're asking me to get? What sales amount? That's it. That is the x there. And the sales amount is x. You don't know what it is, so you call it x.
Right.
Okay. The question is explicit. What sales amount? So the sales amount is x. And if somebody's going to get a commission of 4% on the sales amount, then they're going to get 0.04x.
Like I said, I understand the concept, but figuring out the answer, I know that there's going to be a number there that equals x on both sides of the equation, which will give the same result, which is the same sales amount for the day. Figuring it out, I'm not sure how to do it, honestly. I don't want to lie.
Can you solve this equation? If you cannot solve it, then that is where you and I need to go on a one-on-one so we can go through how to solve equations.
Right. I could do it by guessing a number and keep trying to plug it in it'll take me a while, but I'd rather know how to do it.
Yeah,
correctly.
let's go through that. Let's go through that. See where your problem is.
Yes, this is where I guess
we'll just take equations and just keep solving them so that we know how to solve equations before you even think about how to set up a word problem into an equation.
Okay. Again, Professor, like I said, I was out of school for 30 years. I'm coming back to this and I don't remember anything. So
don't worry about it. You get it.
Okay.
You get it. All right. Let me does anybody else have any other issues?
Kimberly, you know how to do this?
So a little bit. I mean, I can set things up properly, I think. What confuses me is knowing which formula I should be using and which process I have to use first. So yeah, it does take me time to try to work it out. And then I have a tutor on the side that will check my work and tells me like, no, this is right or this is wrong. That's how I've been able to like, and my tutor on the side is my boss.
Oh, I thought it was through the school. I was about to say, hook me up with the school tutor.
No, it's my boss. Like I'll do the problems, and of course I come to the tutoring session the professor provides, but it's confusing for me too. Like I know that the equation, but I guess me doing it the way I do it, and then the professor explaining it differently, like earlier, I was like, all right, but I used n as the the what I have to figure out versus x.
Right.
But
Well,
like for this one,
and is good.
Yeah, but for this, the equation the professor just put up, I have it worked out, and I didn't do it this way, but I'm working it out now. So like I know the next step would be, okay, subtract 64 from both sides, so that you're isolating the 0.04x equals 16, plus 0.08, and then you just keep bringing down the equation until you get down.
I see where your problem is, and so let's see if we can go through that.
I did it the way how Professor did it.
Okay.
Well, at least today I'm understanding how to get to these equations. So I'm understanding what everything means. So that's a plus. The value of everything and what we're looking for, I'm starting to understand. Now, just figuring out the right formulas where I need to I need to work on that.
But me, this reminds us of like basic algebra. Bringing
Yeah,
us.
it is basic algebra. So it's one thing to do basic algebra. If you set up the x's and the y's and what have you, many people can do that. Okay, but what matters at the end for those of us who are not pure mathematicians is not just to know how to do basic algebra, but it's to know how to use it. Everything that you see that is going on out there is based on basic algebra. The plane that you fly is based on algebra. Somebody is able to solve the equation and say, what if the wind is flowing at 50 miles an hour? And this plane is 3 tons in the air. How, what kind of power would you need to get the plane off the ground and stay stable in the air? It's algebra. Very big algebra, but still somebody is solving it. I mean, we enjoy the flights. For those of you who like flying.
I think I needed to take an algebra course before doing this. Maybe that would have helped me.
What math course did you take before doing this?
Professor, I don't remember. It was 30 years ago. I was just taking accounting. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm starting from zero.
Then you did algebra. Okay. You did algebra. It's just that, like I said, people say mathematics is not a reliable friend.
Not to me.
If you leave mathematics for 1 day, it will leave you for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go back begging, bearing gifts if you want mathematics to come back to you. So it's either you don't leave it at all, or when you leave it, you go your way. Stay away from it. But now let's see if we can solve that problem. So 64
plus 0.04x
plus 0.04x.
And thank you everybody for your patience with me. I know it's not easy.
No, don't worry about it. If we're
That's
here, it's
fine.
because we're all struggling, or a little bit to some degree. If not, we
Equal
wouldn't
to
attend. 80 plus 0.08.
80 plus point.
I also find it, Mario, easier, like if you, while you're reading the equation, pull out the numbers and like try to set up the problem and go through each equation and break it down. Like, don't just try to figure it out. Like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know, just a suggestion.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Plus x times x minus $1,000. Okay, so now we have the equation. So we're going to try to solve for x. Okay, so we're going to break it down. 64 plus 0.04x equal to, okay, now keep your notes because I'm going to be erasing things. 80 plus 0.08 x minus 0.08 times 1,000 is what? Use your calculator. 0.08 times 1,000 is what? It's 80.
You said 0.08 minus 1,000?
Times 1,000, because you have this
Times
bracket
1,000.
here. You have the
It's
bracket
80.
around here. So you have to multiply 0.08 times x, then 0.08 times 1,000. You say minus 1,000 here. So 0.08 times minus 1,000 is minus 80.
80, yes.
Okay. So this is very easy. 80 minus 80 is what?
0.
0.
Zero.
Wait, hold up. This is where I got lost. So 0.08. I'm still stuck on 0.08. Minus 1,000.
No, not minus.
0.08
Not,
times
not.
the x.
You see the bracket
It's
around.
multiplied.
Yes, you see the bracket around x minus 1,000 means you multiply everything inside the bracket by 0.08, one by one.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Okay, so 0.08 times x is 0.08x. And 0.08 times 1,000 is 80. But this is a minus here, so it's 0.08 times minus 1,000, which is minus 80. You get it?
Yes.
Okay. So now we have the equation where that is set up here. So 80 minus 80 gives you what?
0.
0, right? So this 80 will cross out at 80. Does not always have to be so. Does not always have to be so. Okay, but here we're just lucky that 80 cancels out 80. And so we have, now we have this 0.04 here. See this 0.04, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we move 0.04 to the other side of the equality sign, right? So when you move it to the other side, it becomes that 64 is equal to 0.08 minus 0.04. And I have, both of them have x, 0.08x. Okay. Okay, so you have 0.08x minus 0.04x. So what is 0.08x minus 0.04x? What is 8 chickens minus 4 chickens?
It's 0.04x.
0.04x. I'm asking that question to Mario.
I'm sorry.
I'm asking the question to Mario. What is 8 chickens minus 4 chickens?
Yes, 4.
Very 4
chickens.
chickens. Therefore, 0.08x minus 0.04x is 0.04x.
Okay.
You get the idea? Because x is subtracting x. Chicken is subtracting chicken. Okay?
Well, my question is, why did you invert it? Because 0.04x was on the left side of the equation.
Because when you move a number from one side of the equality sign to the other side of the equality sign, it will change sign.
Okay. Yep, that's basic algebra, which I'm not familiar with. Okay, I understand.
It makes sense? Once you move any number from one side of an equation to the other side of the equation, you will change its sign.
Okay.
Okay. So now we understand that. So I'm going to take that off. All right. This was 64. So now we have then that 64 is equal to 0.04 x. So now we solve for x. So x will be 64 divided by 0.04. All right. So if you divide 64 by 0.04, what do you get? Use your calculator.
1,600?
1,600. That means if J sells 1,600 worth of goods, and if Masur sells $1,600 worth of goods, both of them will be making the same amount of money.
Okay.
Now, if Masur sells $2,000 worth of goods, and J is selling 1,500, or say 1,800, who is going to make more money?
Wait, could you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
So you got 1,600. Let us now ask another question.
Okay.
Let us say J sells 1,800 worth of goods, right? And M equals 1,800. Suppose they both sell $1,800 worth of goods. Who's going to make more money?
Well, you got to remove the 1,000 from M,
From
right?
M, yes. You got to remove the 1,000 from M and multiply the difference by 0.08.
Okay.
Okay, and that should give M $80 was $64, because 800 times 0.08 is 64. Okay, so you're gonna get 80 plus 64, which is 144. All right. But J will get 64 plus
1,800.
no plus 1,800 times
So divided
0.04.
by 0.04.
No, times 0.04.
Okay.
Okay, so it's gonna get 64 plus 72, which is 136. Well, so who's making more money?
Hold on, I was still trying to figure out the
All right. So let's take 800 times 0.08 plus 80, which they must make, which is 144.
Right.
This person gets 64. This person gets 1,800 times 0.04 plus 64, which is 136. So
M is
makes more money. Once they pass 1,600, M is going to be making more money.
Yes, got that.
So now, as a salesperson, as a prospective salesperson, ask yourself, which one would you take? And why would you take that amount of money? What are the questions you would ask yourself to make a choice?
Yeah, it depends how much you could realistically sell. If you could realistically sell that amount of money, then you're going to take the one where you can make more commission.
That's correct. Now, you ask yourself, but you ask yourself also, what's my personality? This is number one.
Am I lazy or not?
It's not about being lazy. I'm not a lazy person, but I'm not a good PR person either. Okay. I'm not a good salesperson as a person, I'm telling you. If I was working for Bayer Aspirin and you had a headache, I'm going to have a hard time selling you aspirin.
Okay.
But if you think you are that kind of a savvy person, you would take M's offer. Because you know you have the savvy to go there and say 10,000 what? Because once you pass a 1,600, everything else is rent. You'll be making extra money. But if you don't think that you have that kind of personality, I'll take number one.
Right.
I'll take number one if you're a conservative person, if you're not a risk taker. You get it?
Sure. Till now I do.
All right. Okay then. I'm just giving you the practical business considerations and practical business uses of mathematics. Mathematics is used in every area. Get me wrong now. It's used in every area. It's used in agriculture. Okay. So are you able now to go back and do your homework? At least if you have a tutor, the tutor will be able to coach you.
I'm gonna get on with a tutor and I'm gonna do my best to finish this by the weekend.
All right. Okay. Any other questions?
I
I'll be
didn't get that
sending
answer.
you that email, Professor, as well. Send you an
Sure.
email.
All right. I'll look at it and then I'll make some time out.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, somebody else was about to say something. Kimberly or Jamelia?
I think that was
It
Kimberly.
Okay.
I didn't get that answer when I did the equation. I did it the another way. I don't know.
What answer did you get? Let's figure that out. What answer did you get?
Okay, so I did 64 plus plus 0.04a equals negative 920.
No.
See, I did it
Let's
wrong.
let's put it up again for everybody's benefit.
No, I
Okay.
have the notes. Like I took screenshots so I can make sure that
Okay.
but I don't know what made me think that this is right is the question.
Plus 0.04x. And since the 80 canceled out the 80, so we have equals 0.08x. That's what we came up with because the 80 canceled out the 80 on that side. Didn't have to. All right.
And then when
you
I worked it out, it came out.
You moved the 0.04 to the other side. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And it subtracted and came
well
up
no, I added, yeah, okay, so I did 64
64 equals 0.04x, because when you move the 0.04 to the other side, it becomes 0.08 minus 0.04, which gives you 0.04x. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so then x equals 64 over 0.04.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that either. I really messed up royally. I got as x 24.
But this is what you should this is what you should be solving. Because if 64 is equal to 0.04x, then you divide both sides by 0.04, and so x becomes 64 over 0.04.
Okay, I did it wrong. But I know what I did. Now I'll figure it out again.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
All right then. Good night.
Good night. Have a good one.
All right. Good night, guys. Thank you, Professor. And I'll be reaching out to you. Thank you, guys.
Sure. Next week we'll talk about systems of equations. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.